kitchen, and of course he currently appears on ITV Lorraine's show every morning. You can see that show, and he's on there as their resident chef. But today we're delighted to welcome him here to Bury St Edmunds. Will you please give a huge round of applause to the wonderful Mr. James Tanner!
Wow. Morning everybody. How are we, Bury St Edmunds? You okay? I'm sorry, that's not really good enough. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Do you want to see some nice food?
Yeah.
Well, I better try and turn it on a bit then and do some nice food, I suppose. Fantastic to be here. I've been booked to come here now for 6 months, and I've really been looking forward to it. Beautiful town. I had a little wander around last night as well. Stunning place with some great local suppliers. Obviously, you can see a lot of them here now. And also, fantastic seasonal ingredients. So for me, it ticks all the boxes. Love it. What we're going to do now is, we've got 3 demonstrations, one at 11, one 1 o'clock, one at 3 o'clock as well. And we're just going to use some great different style things. I didn't want to do everything too restauranty. I wanted to do some dishes that you can replicate at home. Later on in the day, we're going to do a demonstration, something for the kids as well. Something using store cupboardy stuff. But to kick off, I thought I'd do something which I'm really good in season at the moment. We got some beautiful Braeburn apples, a simple salad-ish, but with a blue cheese fondue dressing, all shall be explained. And then we got one of these. Don't know if anyone knows what that is. This is lemon sole, nice flatfish. Again, I've got a site where I work down by the coast. Very good at the moment. It's a good price, it's in season as well. We're going to do that with a smoked shrimp, we call it beurre noisette. It's like a brown nut butter, okay? And then also some of this stuff, which is samphire, okay? So sea beans, again I've got to cook that, and with new potatoes as well. And then to finish off, I thought I'd give you a kind of little brunch idea. You can use this one as a savoury or sweet. Today we're going to do sweet, just so it adds up to like a 3-course meal kind of thing. But it's going to be my drop pancakes with some maple syrup and blueberries. But you can do it savoury as well, as American style pancakes. So I better get cooking really and kick off. I've got my pans on the hob here, and we've got it all cranked up ready to go. So I'm going to cook this. I think the best way for me to do this demonstration, we're going to cook it all in order. Starter, main course, dessert. I'm going down, bring out the knives. Okay, so we've got separate knives for separate jobs, obviously. One for the fish and everything else like that. But to kick off, I'm going to do this one with my wonderful apples. So Braeburns this time of year. You could do this one with pears as well, by the way, as well. Cox apples, that kind of thing, really good. We're going to actually saute the apple, and then at the end deglaze the pan with maple syrup. You can use honey if you want to. I'm just going to do enough for one portion, obviously, and it's very simple. Cut wedges. If I wanted to, I could do turn little barrel shapes now. But for yourselves at home, just for speed and for ease, we're just going to take out that core, because it's obviously going to be tough to eat and you're not going to want that. So off with the core of the apple. I've got a touch of oil that we can start to saute the apples in. And actually, this one's olive. So this is the guy down the road here who's got his own little stall. And his actually wife grows this in Cyprus, believe it or not. Brings it over to the UK. Fantastic. Okay, so the apples are sauteing. It is a non-stick pan. It is on quite a high heat. Be careful. Always put anything in the pan away from yourself as you're cooking. That way no fat fits back. So we give them a little bit of coloration. I want bite in there as well, but we want to deglaze at the same time. So let's just check how it's going out. I'm going to lower the heat down ever so slightly. And I don't really need to give it an Ainsley moment and shake the pan or flip or anything. I just want to get it a nice bit of coloration on it, okay? Right. The next up, we've got this banana shallot. You could use an onion if you wanted to. I use these because I think they're sweeter and they've got a nicer flavour. So I'm just going to use the half, and we're going to do a fondue. Now in the colder months, this one's brilliant as well. And seeing as the summer's unfortunately coming to an end, let's try something different. So I've got myself a nice sharp knife, slicing the shallot all the way through, down and across, and then rock the knife, keep your fingers in close to the blade, give it a good chop, and you get yourself a nice fine dice, okay? So same principle if it was an onion or anything else. Let's get myself a little palette, check the apples, only just starting to get a bit of colour on them, okay? Now again, like I said before, you could use pears for this one as well. But apples, the sweetness in them I think really works. And also pears, but I'll give it another couple of weeks for British pears. Okay. Now, got my shallot off to one side. We've got our blue cheese here as well. Gorgeous stuff. We're going to have that there, and we're going to make it with cream as well. Very, very simple. Okay. Now, the apples are doing their thing. I've got another pan on here. In with a touch of the oil. In the shallot goes. And I want to cook this one with no colour. Okay. So it's literally translucent. The pan's so hot, that's why I'm holding it off the heat. But the idea is it gets the flavour, it starts to sweat everything down, but you won't get any tart or burn taste from having coloration. Notice there's hardly any oil in here at all. It's just enough to give it a nice cook through, so it's got a bit of crunch still, but this is where it gets a bit strange. We grab blue cheese straight into that hot pan, and we give it a crumble, okay? The cheese obviously is going to start to melt, but also I don't want it to burn in the pan. Now this is where it's a treat, this one. It is a fondue after all. Touch of cream goes in there and everything bubbles up. Again, now at this stage we can lower the heat completely and just let it do its thing and just let it melt that cheese, okay? You could try this with different ones if you wanted to, like soft cheeses and stuff. I just like the blue cheese, but by all means, I'm doing a bit of a twist actually on a classic Waldorf, really, this salad, because we're using walnuts in there as well. However, like I said, you could use brie if you wanted to, or camembert, any other soft cheeses. Okay, so we just let that do a little bubble. That's looking good. The apples are looking lovely. Now, over to the salads. So we've got some chicory in there, some mixed leeks, but I need an all-important dressing. So, I've got myself a touch of white wine vinegar, just about a splash, touch of Dijon mustard, and again, I'm just doing this for one, this is about a teaspoon. The idea is you want really, acidy really, about a teaspoonful of mustard, to a teaspoonful of vinegar, to a tablespoon of oil. That's just for me doing these amounts for one, okay? So into that goes there. And we're not going to dress the salad right until the end, okay? So we just leave this off to one side, give it a shake around. To that, a crack of fresh black cracked pepper. Some nice sea salt flakes, not because they're all like trendy and it's sea, you know, everyone uses sea salt on telly or anything like that. It's actually got a touch of sweetness to it, and I quite like using that in cookery. Okay, let's check this out. The fondue is actually, the cheese has melted, and any little lumps in there is the shallot, but remember there's no colour on it. So you've still got a bit of bite in there, and the apple's firm in the middle, but only just slightly coloured on the outside. Now is the stage we can start to put the first dish together. We've got the maple syrup. It's going to add a touch of maple syrup to those apples, and now we're going to let it get all toffee, kind of like a nice toffee glaze. So again, like I say, firm in the middle, soft on the outside, everything's bubbling up. You could of course use a touch of honey should you wish. Now let's get some nice fresh herbs here. We've got some chives, and we're using them because it's like onion family, so it works obviously with the shallot. Couple of tablespoons of chives, there's loads for this one, but that just off to the side there, and that all-important salad. Right, so we've got the chicory pieces. This is very bitter, okay, so I think that's why with the sweetness, personally I think that's why this one works. We've got the mixed salad, bit of watercress in there as well, some bull's blood lettuce, stuff like that, and we're just going to make sure we coat just now, just before we serve, okay? Okay. Grab yourself a serving plate. We go back here because I think you lot on the camera, if I put it in the sunlight you won't see it as well, so let's leave it back on the board. Now, toffee apple, yeah? With maple, a little bit different. Few pieces over and around, okay? And they're only just starting to soften through. It's not cooked all the way. I don't want it to be. I want you to have the texture from it, okay? And a little drizzle of whatever you choose, honey or maple around them is perfectly fine. Okay, so we've got the wonderful fondue. And again, I've let it cool down, I've turned the heat off. But as you can see, nothing's burned, nothing's stuck to the bottom. The pieces in there are the shallots, like I said before. So this is where we get our nice cheesy flavour. And it really is a twist on a Waldorf salad, really. But in the cold months, dip a bit of bread into that. Love it. Heaven. Very, very simple, okay? It's like old school twist, really, in a different way. And then we got our chicory pieces. We're going to stack them up. Remember, the dressing isn't on too early. If it was, it would actually cook this salad. And I don't want that. I want you to be able to taste the flavour of the lettuce as well. And all of these different mixed lettuces, you know, some of them are bitter, some of them are sour, some of them are sweeter. And that's what we want. And then a few bits of the fresh chives. And that just gives it that oniony kick that I think works with the shallot. And then to finish off, some cracked walnuts. These are peeled walnuts. You could use pine nuts by all means if you wanted to, but cracked walnuts over and around. And there you have it, sautéed apples, nice maple, blue cheese fondue, chicory and walnuts. Right, bear